Hello world, welcome back to Cybercreate. Today in this video, we will be discussing how you can actually get the transcribe out of a very long video and also from the audio itself. So it is going to basically work on longer video and longer audio, because for getting the transcribe of the shorter video and shorter audio, you already know that we can simply use whisper without doing anything and you are going to get a transcribe out of it. But the problem occurs when the video or the audio size basically increases the OpenAI benchmark. So how to tackle that problem and how to bypass it and get it to work on as long context that you want. Also, like, there will be a limit, but that limit will be much greater than what OpenAI provides by default. So if you are interested in this and if you are facing the challenge, and you can also try to create a project on making a platform that can help you talk with audio and video, this video is going to be very, very useful for you. So with this information, let's get this video started. So first, try to understand what's the limitation of OpenAI. So the OpenAI basically supports the audio file for the transcription till 25 megabytes. So if you are going to be doing this for any audio files that is basically longer than this, you are simply going to be getting an error from OpenAI, and it's going to be retrying, and sometime it will be able to do that and sometime it won't. So that's the main bottleneck. You cannot simply upload file to the OpenAI via API for more than 25 megabytes. So what's the way to tackle this problem? So while doing my research, I found a way that what we can do, we can simply compress our audio. Yes. So if we can simply compress the audio into the format from the MP3 or M4A or whatever audio format it is to OGG format, which is basically very, very highly compressed form of the audio, then you can basically pass the compressed audio to the ChatGPT server and you can basically get the transcribe out of it. So if you have the file size of, let's suppose, 100 MB, and after compressing it, it will become the 10 MB. And then it comes basically within the range of the OpenAI, that is of 25 MB. So by using this technique, you can simply compress the audio and then basically deploy this solution, and it is going to work for most of the cases. But then again, what if after doing the compression, it also increases the size to more than 25 MB? So what then? So in that case, what we are going to do, so even if after the conversion and compression, it's basically very, very, file size is very good, or like it's around 50 MB. So what we can do, there is a way we can simply split the audio into, let's suppose, 3 different segments: 20 MB, 20 MB, 20 MB, or like if the size is 50 MB, 20 MB, 20 MB, and 10 MB. And then we can send the file to the ChatGPT and basically get the transcribe out of it. And as we have the control of what time we are cutting the audio, we can simply merge the transcript with the help of this timings. And that is how we are going to be able to solve the issue. So I have described how we can simply solve the question in the theoretical form. Now let's get into the code and let's see how we are going to be solving it. So very first thing, these are some of the imports that we will be needing. And this is the OpenAI, because we will be using Whisper 1 model to do this conversion and transcript, and also we are going to be getting the timestamp too, so don't worry about that. So this is the function that I wrote for the compression. So what it basically does is, it basically uses FFmpeg. So you have to basically install FFmpeg into your system. So nowadays installation of the things are very, very easy. If you are using something like Cursor, like I am using, you can simply ask how to install FFmpeg on any system. Like if you have Windows, you can simply ask on Windows. So it will basically provide a solution. If you are on Linux, it will simply provide you on the Linux too. So, but I have already installed FFmpeg, because that is the software that is going to be able to basically compress our audio. So FFmpeg, and here we are going to be providing the input file. So previously I was basically testing it for compressing the audio, but I just tried the video and it is also able to compress the video, and then it basically provides the compressed audio of it, and it's basically in 12K audio format. And after that conversion, this is the part that is basically responsible for compressing of the audio. It is also going to work on video, it is also going to work on audio. So if we are simply passing the audio file, it will compress the audio file. If you are passing the video, it will extract the video and then just take the audio as an input. And here, remember, we are not considering the video as video. We are just considering the video also as audio, which means that what I am wearing or how I am looking, if I am holding a remote or holding a phone, that information will not be available to our AI models, because we are not fetching the images of the video in this solution. So if you want to do that, we can discuss that in a separate video, but for this video I wanted to make it very clear. We're just taking the audio out of the video. So video goes or audio goes, simply we are going to be working on the audio only. So this is the command that's going to simply compress the audio, and then we are simply running the command, and I'm just simply logging what's the time that it took to basically do this process. So here is the main thing. Then we can start to look step by step. So firstly, we are providing the input file, output file. So the transcript is going to be saved in the text format. So here is how it's going to be saved with the timings and this, and also it will be saved in a JSON format. So that if you simply want it to be used in some other applications that you are thinking of building anything, then simply use the JSON, because JSON is much more usable instead of just using the text. So that's one of the reasons that I'm doing in that particular format. So the first thing we are doing is processing the audio. So remember, it's going to process both audio and video. Let me just scroll this. So the first thing, if it checks if the file already exists. So here I have made this, but if you are doing it on your own production environment or something, then you are going to skip this part of function. I'm just explaining every part of the code so that you can modify it accordingly. So we are trying to check if we already have compressed the audio. There's no need of the recompression again. So that's the reason I'm just simply skipping. If it's already compressed, and if it's not, then we are going to call this compress audio function, which is simply going to compress audio and video, whatever the input file is. And then it basically returns the output. And if it fails, it basically logs the error. And once we have the compressed audio, we simply return that compressed audio file to our main function. So we have the compressed file. Now we have the compressed audio that is went from MP3 to OGG format. Then what we are going to do, we are going to then call this chunks and all segments. So this is basically going to first process the chunks. So let me show you. By process chunks, so here we will be passing the compressed file, that we got of whatever size, it's a 4 hours or whatever length it have. And then what we are going to do, we are going to be splitting it into 30 minutes chunks. So here, this is split audio function is going to do nothing but it is simply going to split our audio in the 30 minute stream, because that's the frame that is that I have tested to work very well with the Whisper model. So that's the reason why we are going to be using and sticking with the 30 minutes. You can play for 40 or 50 minutes too. That is also going to work, but you can try your plan or your logic accordingly. So here we will be creating the chunks of the audio. If it's 1 hour long, there will be 2 chunks. If there is 1.5 hour long, there will be 3 chunks, and like that. And we will also be logging those chunks. And once I run the code, you will also be able to see those. So after getting all the chunks, what we are going to do, we are going to simply process the chunks one by one. So we take the chunk 1, which is of 30 minutes, and here we are going to process it. And by processing, I mean I am going to simply transcribe that chunk. So here you see we are transcribing the chunks, and here we are using the Whisper model from OpenAI. We are passing the audio file, and we are saying it the response format to be the verbose JSON. And this is how we are getting the audio transcription from the Whisper one. And once this transcription is done, the text is basically saved in this particular transcript. And then here's the chunk size, because we know that it's of 30 minutes. So we have to also adjust the timing for the next chunk that comes, so that it basically knows that it's from 30 minutes and 1 second. Because if all the audios will be starting, let me simplify it a bit. If the audio is 1 hour long and your chunk is 30 minutes, so after 30 minutes, you have to match this 30 minutes. So that the next audio that comes, it basically says 30 minutes and 10 seconds, from 30 minutes to 10 seconds. Instead, if we don't do this, so all the separate chunks will be starting from 00 time frame. So if it's 1 hour video, it will just contain the timestamp till 30 minutes. So we are just simply adding both of them. That's the logic that we are doing here. So we are simply adding that timestamp and basically appending those result in the all segments. And then we are returning the chunks as well as all the segments. and here we'll be storing that. And here's a save transcript function. So this will simply save the transcript, and it will do a bit of formatting of the timestamp to basically make it look bit cool or bit good. So this is how it's going to be doing this, and this is how this transcript will look after this particular formatting. And then we also are using this transcript JSON so that we can basically format it into a very well-framed JSON format. So this is how the formation is basically done for all the segments. And then after it's done, we are simply cleaning up the chunks, and then we are releasing this process. So this is how we are going to do that. So let's clear it, and let me run Python main.py. And yes, for running this, there are just the two requirements that you need to install. One is OpenAI, that you are going to be installing anyway for this transcription, and PyDub for this audio video conversion and this task. So here, if you pay closer attention, compressed file already exists, so it is skipping the compression. And here you can see that it has basically created two chunks, because our video is of basically 42 minutes, and this audio is of 30 minutes, and the second audio is of 12 minutes 30 seconds. So now we are basically going to be transcribing the chunks. The chunks is basically in two parts, 0 and 1. Then we are basically starting the transcription of the chunk 0, and then once the chunk 0 is done, we are going to do of chunk 1, and then we will be merging the timings of both of them so that it comes in the sync. And remember, if you are going to be injecting into your framework, going to create a SAS or whatever, try to use a unique ID with this numbering itself, so that you know that this is from different audio file, this is from different audio file, instead of just mixing all of them together. So let's wait for this process to actually complete. So now you can basically see the transcript is done, and yes, the transcript is simply the same. Today I want to show you how you can basically use the cursor. It's basically a podcast or a tutorial on the cursor, and then here's a transcript in the form of text. So you can basically create a complete RAG application, and let me know if you want me to help you in that also. So I can simply put this data into the vector database, make an API call, and get the data and as well as the timestamp too. So with that said, I will conclude this video now, and if you have any questions, please make sure to write down in the comment section below, and please don't forget to like and subscribe this video. Yes, so that is it. Bye bye.